Hi, I'm Bill Patrick. The program you're about to see is part of a vintage series called Car and Track, which was originally produced during the first half of the 1970s. Before we begin the show, though, a brief program note. Using as many as 8 cameras to shoot a single event, Car and Track captured some of the great NASCAR competitions of the era, one race at a time. Over the course of some 80 episodes through 6 seasons, series producer and host Bud Lindeman lovingly documented a unique era in American motor racing. While the race action contained in the series remains timeless, the program itself has not dated quite so gracefully. Although the years have not been overly kind to Bud's decidedly low-key introductions and interviews, we believe them to be an integral part of this one-of-a-kind series. So please, stay with us now as Speed Vision presents a rare slice of 1970s Americana, Car and Track.
We have a great short track race for you today as the late model stockers take a 500-lap tour of the oval at Bristol Speedway. And believe me, this track is something else. Hey, you'll see a new thrill show headliner, too. The ramp-to-ramp leap has been done by many famous stunt drivers. But there's a fella touring the country right now that makes the jump and spirals the car at the same time. It's quite a feat. Our test car of the week is aimed at the growing market of subcompact buyers and called the Cricket. In the next 30 minutes, we'll check out the good and bad features of this British-built import. Hey, we'll be back in 1 minute. The Southeastern 500 is an annual favorite of ours. First of all, it features the nation's finest stock car drivers. Secondly, it's run on the fastest half-mile track in the country. Bristol Speedway is nestled right in the mountains on the Virginia-Tennessee border. The turns are banked as high or higher than some super speedways. The drivers average well over 100 miles per hour. And after they run 500 laps on this track, boy, they know they've been in a race. Bristol International Speedway, with its wide, sweeping, high-bank turns, is the fastest half-mile and one of the most challenging tracks on the NASCAR circuit. This annual Southeastern 500 announces the first big race of the year for Bristol, and the crowds swarm in by the thousands. Pole sitter Cale Yarborough, driving the Junior Johnson-prepared Chevrolet number 11, was the fastest qualifier at 107.608 miles per hour. Cecil Gordon started alongside in another Chevy. Buddy Baker and Cuckoo Marlin are in the second row. Richard Petty and Bobby Allison fill out the third row, with Bobby Isaac and Donnie Allison starting right behind in the fourth row. It's a 30-car field that moves around on the parade lap in perfect 2 abreast formation. Out of the fourth turn, drivers wind them up. There's the green, and they're off. Cale and Cecil Gordon are side by side at the start, but Yarborough breaks that duo up when he stands on it coming out of the fourth turn and fires into the lead at the end of the first lap. 14, Cuckoo Marlin is third, 71, Buddy Baker fourth, and Bobby Allison in car 12 is running fifth. Cale Yarborough is running so strong, he's going to pass his own shadow. Junior Johnson has set up winning cars at this track before, but none have looked as good as this Monte Carlo. Baker, Allison, Petty, and Isaac have begun to pick up the pace now in an effort to catch Cale. If they maintain these speeds, there'll be some arm-weary drivers at the end of this race. The
The 11 Chevy Cale Yarborough is already passing and blowing the doors off the slower cars. He's driving this race like a 10-lap dash. Sky that's been threatening all day has just shed a few drops of water. If it keeps up, they'll have to stop it. On the 52nd lap, the red flag came out and the race was officially stopped. And the sky opened up, resulting in a cancellation and postponement of the race for 2 weeks. Two Sundays later, the cars were back. The drivers returned, and the spectators jammed in again. But the skies didn't look one bit more promising. Nonetheless, it was dry, and that's all they needed. The officials declared that the race would resume from where they left off, on the 52nd lap, and with the cars in the same positions as they were in when the red flag was thrown. That puts 11 Yarborough in front, 14 Marlin second, 15 Bobby Isaac third, 71 Baker is fourth, and Petty fifth. Here they are out of the fourth turn, and the 2-week rain-delayed restart is underway. Cale didn't forget how as he bounds out into the early lead once again. Number 44, Eddie Bond, who blew it in the fourth turn and spun right down the main straight in front of the grandstands. Drivers took advantage of the yellow flag for necessary pit stops, were out quickly for the green flag, and the race was underway again. Cale screams his Chevy into the lead once again. Junior Johnson must have set this car up with a computer. It's handling perfectly, exactly as it did 2 weeks ago when the race was canceled due to rain. There's no guesswork with these car builders. They're professionals from start to finish. Allison, Isaac, and Petty hold down the second, third, and fourth spots, but Cale seems to be stretching them on every lap. That's Cecil Gordon, one of the front runners limping down pit row. His crew discovered engine troubles and parked the car behind the wall out of the race. Meanwhile, Cale Yarborough is about to lap some of the faster cars. In the second turn, he passes Petty. About 3 laps later, Yarborough punches past Bobby Allison's Coke machine, number 12. This track belongs to Cale, and he takes them high or low. Suddenly, it's a loose wheel right down the main straight, off the right front of Dean Dalton's number 7 Mercury. He dives behind the wall and is okay, but the wheel is still rolling. This brings out another yellow flag. One of the most dangerous things at a racetrack is a loose wheel. A car can strike it and send it flying in any direction. The leaders decide to let the wheel have the track, and they head for pit row. With all the cars serviced and back on the track, the flagman drops the green and they're off again. battle with Bobby Allison, then whips past him as they come down off the high bank second turn. Down the back chute, Petty quickens the pace and slides around Buddy Baker on the high side. Richard is running third now, behind second-place contender Bobby Allison. Entering turn 3, the Monte Carlo slides past Bobby Isaac. Now, Cale Yarborough has at least one full lap lead over the rest of the field. And if he can keep the rubber band from breaking, he might end this race an hour early. Turn 3, Petty pours it on, pulls up alongside Bobby Allison, and finally passes him to take over the second-place spot. Look out! That was a bad one. Number 71, Buddy Baker's steering went out on him, entering turn 3. He'd lost control and hit the wall head-on. After careening off the guardrail, and with no steering whatsoever, he smashed into Cuckoo Marlin's number 14 Chevrolet. Miraculously, both drivers are all right. The caution light is on, and pit row is alive with action. The front end of Buddy's Charger is totaled out, and Harry Hyde and the crew have it towed behind the wall. With the track cleaned up, the cars fly under the green flag, and the 6th restart is off and underway. Cale Yarborough is still doing a sensational job, giving the fans a real demonstration of driving skill. And to aspiring young race car builders, this Chevy is the epitome of performance and handling ability. The Dodge, number 43, driven by Richard Petty, is second, with number 12, Bobby Allison, in the Coke machine, third. Number 54, Lenny Pond, lost it through the turn. Went on a long straightaway spinner, ending up against the inner guardrail. He's all right and drives the car off toward pit row. Meanwhile, Cale Yarborough continues to scream his Chevy toward the checkered flag. With 499 laps under his belt, Cale explodes his Chevy under the white flag. He's led this one from the very start. And I think that even if the engine blew right now, he has enough of a lead to coast home in front of the field. There it is. The checkered flag falls on Cale Yarborough and the Junior Johnson Chevrolet. Second place goes to Richard Petty. Bobby Allison takes home the third place money. A happy Cale Yarborough drives into victory lane. Due to rain, it took him 2 weeks to win the Southeastern 500, and that's nothing compared to the long, dry spell he had racing with USAC. But he's home now, and this race just shows you what red gravy, black-eyed peas, and grits can do for a Southern boy. In man's quest to be innovative, creative, to be number one, he is often forced to make the impossible possible. And in the thrill show arena, it is no different. Thus came about the American Thrill Show's Spiral Jump. It would take man well over a year to calculate the speed, weight, and angles to make this feat possible. It took this computer just 20 seconds. With the ramp constructed, it was time to head for the test track and the first manned attempt. He made it, and now in slow motion. Well, it's a success if you don't count the broken wheel and the dented nose. After many more hours and a lot more sheet metal, the stunt was perfected. And so on to the Houston Astrodome for the first live performance before a standing room only crowd. Before a hushed crowd, the javelin hurtles into the air. That's one happy driver that receives congratulations and a standing ovation. You know, thrill shows have provided entertainment for millions of people, but the Astro Spiral Jump has got to be the epitome of what a thrill show is all about.
Have you noticed lately that our highways are becoming peppered with little cars, referred to by some as minis, by others as subcompacts, and by many female owners as my cute little car? At any rate, it's a trend, and one that's growing increasingly hard to ignore. Well, since the interest is there, we brought them to our test track to give you an honest appraisal of the best-selling models. Today, our driver climbed aboard a Plymouth Cricket. We turned on the cameras, and it looked like this.
During the period of time that we had our Cricket, we heard many comments, good and bad. Some of the more notable were, hey, what's that, training wheels for a Cadillac? Another asked, does it go faster if you rub its hind wheels together? I think much of our comment was caused by its GT emblem, racing stripes, and spoiler. For power, they employ a 1500cc four-banger. Our car had the optional second Stromberg carburetor, increasing the net horsepower from 55 to 70. Also the noise level. In our out-of-the-hole games, the Cricket proved to be anything but a neck snapper. 30 miles per hour took 3.8 seconds. The shift lever had a short, very precise throw that kind of made you want to use it. Our 50-mile-an-hour run took the clock to 9.8 seconds. First gear was wild. Second was good. But if you haven't shut the gate on your competition by then, forget it, because third is a long, slow haul. 0 to 70 ticked away about 20 seconds. The little English import did well in the braking tests from 30 miles per hour, 39 feet. We had power-assisted 9.5-inch discs up front with drums in the rear. This stopped from 50, ground out 90 feet. Pedal fade and nosedive were both negligible. Heat dissipated well. However, a great deal of effort was required to keep our GT in a straight line. This stop from 70 miles an hour used up 183 feet of the braking course. With a 98-inch wheelbase and stiff leg muscles, we shortened the distance between the cones, and the Cricket ran them well. In the front end, they used McPherson struts, coil springs, and an anti-sway bar. In back, a rigid axle, coil springs, and 4 trailing links. Body lean was at a minimum, along with passenger comfort. High-speed cornering was not the Cricket's long suit. Even with the additional horsepower furnished by the extra carburetor, we found it severely lacking enough power to run through the turns successfully. And in the tighter turns, we felt that the front tires were doing more work than the suspension system. Front bucket seats were very comfortable. Visibility, excellent. There was even a surprising amount of head and leg room in the rear. But people comfort ended there. The ride was rough. Every expansion joint in the pavement felt like a 2-inch curb. Unlike its Japanese brother, the Colt, this car is imported from England, where it's known as a Hillman Avenger. And for some reason, a stiff, rattle-your-teeth suspension system seems to accompany many cars imported from this country. Another uncomfortable feature was interior noise. We didn't have a decibel gauge at the time, so we couldn't measure the sound, but the annoyance level was high. Of course, for $59.50, you can have a radio installed and drown it all out. In the subcompact range, we placed the Cricket in the middle. Not as good as some, better than others. If you're shopping for a Mini, you might want to try it on for size.
Hey, we just ran out of time, and this one is history. Hope you liked the show well enough to stop back next week. Until then, remember, courtesy is a form of kindness. Try it the next time you drive. The rewards are very gratifying. And bye-bye.